Hi, how's it? In the name of Christ, Kikarabo. I hope you're good. I hope you're peachy. I hope you're stellar. And I hope you're in a neat little bunch. So, it's the 26th of December, 2023. At 12 minutes past 8, it's raining outside. So, I'm gonna feel a bit distracted in terms of raising my voice. Anyway, but let's just get into it. Let me put some caveats out there. I'm using captions down below that aren't always accurate, so just look out for that. I don't have time to be editing them, or an editor for that matter, so they stay. And yeah, look, that's it, because I'm not wearing makeup, makeup, because I don't know, I just don't like it anymore. Okay, this rain is gonna distract me because it's really very loud. But let me, yeah, look, I'm under attack, okay? I was just bombarded last night, this day. Like, I told you guys that I don't get a break, more than 48 hours. And so I'm in that mode again. And it's like, yeah, whatever. But I did say that I would come here every day and say something, so I'm saying it. Okay. Yeah. I'm here to say whatever I can just to get through the day. But yeah, it's really very excellent, guys. Look, I've been talking these past days that the world is literally over. And stuff like this just confirms it. Like, I'm just so exhausted. I'm so incredibly tired. I'm exhausted from constant attacks, and this is just gonna keep happening. And if God is not killing these people, he's gonna take us out and then handle them with a dystopian planet. This guy in the US is all up in my grill, but I also got a dream about my ex-boyfriend. Just again pulling stunts, and it's like they'll never stop. For them, it's about trying to see if they can't very quickly neutralize the situation before it gets out of hand. When you lean on sorcery, man, you are gonna have to just surveil the darkness, okay? But that's something I already spoke about, and I already said that if I've already raised an issue and spoken about it at length, I'm not going to raise it again. So it's not worth my while to talk about this, okay? But I just have to put this out there. I am currently being very severely pursued by, in particular, HIV positive men. And the reason why I'm being pursued so desperately by them is not only because they have the disease, but because my ex-boyfriend, out of spite, after I would not get back together with him, concocted a spell to get me infected with HIV through a boyfriend in the future, just to basically finish me off. The thing about that is, people who involve themselves in the occult, they end up having such massive insecurities because all they trust is witchcraft and not their own clout. They trust witchcraft and not their own abilities. And so for those reasons, when they feel minuscule, if they're men emasculated, they try to handle their victims by reducing them to nothing. And when I was dating my ex, there's nothing that he knew, that there was nothing I feared more than HIV. To a point of just being out of my mind with shock as to why he would even cheat on me, when he himself had a clean bill of health at the time, and so did I. Knowing that about me, he went and grabbed that, went to a sangoma and said, finish her off, kanqulaza, the very thing that she's been ducking like no man's business, just give it to her. I have also told you guys that I was so afraid of this disease that when I was 21, I went to go, when I was 20, I went to go and get an HIV test, and because I was already depressed and my life already sucked, I had lost everything, I'd been forcibly made to drop out of varsity because my mom was not paying my fees, and I was living in the dusty streets of Soweto. I told you guys that story some time ago. I told myself that I want an excuse to commit suicide. And so while I was scared to test for HIV all along, pretty much since I broke my virginity, well, actually it was not since I broke my virginity, it was ever since I allowed some ex-boyfriend of mine to do what he did with me without protection, because he was frustrated by not being able to find it anywhere where he was at, and gave me a whole bunch of attitude. And as impressionable as I was, I let him do whatever and hoped that he's not sick. And the guy was all over the show. And ever since that whole thing happened, I freaked out and I was like, maybe I'm HIV positive, because that guy was all over. And so I didn't want to test because I didn't want to know. And my life was going alright. So for those reasons, I just did not want to put a damper on that. But when everything of mine fell apart, when everything of mine got destroyed, that's when I was like, I have nothing to live for anyway. So I'm gonna go take an HIV test, and if it comes out positive, it's gonna give me the nice excuse to finish me off and push me over the edge. I tested and it came out negative, and it kept me alive. I was determined to kill myself at the age of 20, and the only thing that kept me alive was a positive HIV result. A woman with that kind of history, the devil knew that he nearly pushed me over the precipice when I was 20, before knowing Jesus. With that was the one thing that would have really driven me over the edge. And so, of course, he will give one of his worshippers an idea to hook up a spell so as to draw a whole bunch of HIV positive men to me. That whoever Otlong Shelang is going to be a man that has the disease, and one day I'm going to sleep with my boyfriend, Okemukomeng, that is sick, and get HIV. With my ex-boyfriend, the first time we had sex, it was unprotected, and all I ran on was the fact that I asked him if he, if he had ever been for, if he had been for a test, if he knows his status. And he guaranteed me that he had been tested about a couple of weeks ago and it came back negative. I ran with that. And thankfully, it was honest. He was honest. Thankfully, it was true. So I never contracted anything from him. Do you understand? But from what, the world is so evil. We are in the last days. It's 2 Timothy 3 Boulevard now, where it is that mankind are lovers of themselves, lovers of money, boastful, proud, disobedient to parents. They're full of spite, malice, of a fruit of the sinful nature. Galatians 5, where it is that spite, malice is part of the human condition. And my ex-boyfriend became malicious after we broke up. Nah, it wasn't before we broke up. He got involved in the occult deep. It changed him as a man. And that's one of the biggest reasons why we broke up. But because ultimately when he made a decision that he wanted me back, I don't want anything to do with him. He felt minuscule. His witchcraft was no longer there to basically pamper his ego. And this man that knew how I felt about HIV and how I just could not get it. Like anything, please give me anything, even cancer, but please don't give me AIDS. Knowing my strong sentiment about that illness, he imagined that the best way to break me was for me to contract HIV. So he went and basically cast a spell through a sangoma on me that they are HIV positive. And indeed, in a dream I saw it, where it is that the dreams are always very sexual in their nature. And in these dreams, it was him with whom I was engaged in sexual relations, even though I didn't want to be with him. And since him and I spent all of our relationship not using protection, except for the very latter part of our relationship, because I stopped trusting him. In my dream, I did that very thing that I used to do with him, where it is that we were not using protection. And afterwards, in the dream, I would be scared all of a sudden if at all I had a clean bill of health. I would be nervous if I had a clean bill of health. There was always just a very strong theme of HIV in my dreams. Every time I would find myself having sexual relations with my ex-boyfriend, and also immediately after these sexual relations in my dream with my ex, I always hated that I did that with him because I always never wanted him. In my dream, in these dreams that I was given about his indiscretions, I have had many dreams where it is that I've been pregnant with his kid, and the belly would grow at an astronomical rate, like fast. My stomach would grow really quickly, and therefore reach basically what would be the tantamount of too late to abort. And all these dreams happened when I was already a Christian. So I already had conviction about abortion, but whoever I was in the dream was basically determined to have an abortion as soon as she finds out that she's pregnant with his child in particular because she didn't want him. And so she didn't want to be strapped to him for the rest of her life through a baby. And so I was prepared to have an abortion in my dream. And so the pregnancy would progress really fast, as in my stomach would grow almost like a baked good in an oven. Really quickly. And then I would find myself at like 7, 8, 9 months, about to give birth, literally about wanting to pull out the hairs on my head because it was the baby daddy I didn't want. Why am I pregnant with this guy? I don't want him. I don't want him. I don't want him. Why am I about to have his baby? I don't want him. And I would wake up in a cold sweat from these dreams. And initially, because I didn't understand my dreams, I was like, God, what is this? Why am I seeing such rubbish about that guy? What is going on? What is happening? Plus, I've repented from my former pro-choice mindset. Because I used to be pro-choice. Before I became born again, I was pro-choice in terms of abortion. So if I had fallen pregnant by a man I didn't want, I would have had an abortion. You must understand that. Like back in the day, that's how I used to be. And that's the woman that my ex-boyfriend knew. That's the woman that my ex-boyfriend knew when we were dating. There was a pregnancy scare that I had. And I was like, what if I'm pregnant? And the two of us were talking about it to and fro. And he was like, but we're not ready for a baby. First of all, I was very irritated that he said that. But secondly, I low-key agreed that if at all I am pregnant, I am not having it. I'm not having it. I used to be pro-choice. I did not have any conviction in that regard prior to my redemption. It only came on me when I got born again that it was wrong to have an abortion. So in my dream, I was still pro-choice, and that's just the thing. My ex-boyfriend knew that I was pro-choice. He knew that I would have an abortion, that I would not just be stranded with a pregnancy that I didn't want and just run with it. Living in a country where it's legal to get an abortion, and even as a kid, you don't even have to tell your parents. They can help you get it. And a doctor doesn't have to say anything. From the age of 12, I believe that's the case in this country. A 12-year-old kid can have an abortion in South Africa without the parents knowing. Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Anyway, you get my point. With my ex-boyfriend knowing that, he catered that rubbish into basically the witchcraft. The way that I so quickly grew in my belly. It's like I didn't even have time to think about an abortion because I was caught off guard by a late-term pregnancy. Like a woman that would not know that she's pregnant. A woman that wouldn't know that she's pregnant until she's about to give birth. You know how those bad, weird cases that you find on TLC, like these shows, these documentary shows speaking about women who find out that they were pregnant only because they are about to give birth? Yeah. That's how I would get caught off guard by this man's pregnancies in my dreams. That was Bring Back Lost Lover. That was basically something. How would that have been fulfilled in reality if I wasn't born again? If the Lord did not protect me by his spirit? It would have been getting back together with a guy that you know you want to leave. You know you don't want to be. It happened with my friend. It happened with my best friend. It happened with my former best friend. That's why she became so wicked. These men are destroying women. I can't say it enough. It happened with my former best friend, literally hand to glove. I will explain what happened to her. She wanted to leave the bugger she was with. She had to go. He had to be left. It was important that she walk away. He was a wicked man. And the two of us had a pact that said, because we deserve better. And my friend was in agreement, all of us. We were going to wait on Jesus for our husbands. We were planning on that journey together. And the next thing, my friend comes to me 4 or 5 months later, and she is 3 or 4 months pregnant. And I'm like, what? How in the world? Well, I mean, I didn't rebuke her. She's was a grown woman at the time. Still is, I guess. I was like, congratulations, I guess, if you're excited to be a mom. I suppose you and your boyfriend patched things up. Well, yeah, I mean, whatever, congratulations. I didn't like the guy, literally from the very beginning. What woman allows herself, practically a virgin, almost a Gigi, allows herself to go in jail to be with a man that's got 5 kids by 5 different baby mamas? Who allows that? The only reason why that man is able to support 5 different children with 5 different baby mamas is because Neil is Satan, lawyer. He knows how to bewitch women to keep on popping babies for him, even though they all don't have any kids prior to him. Who in the world does what in the world under heaven is that Sierra did with Fuchsia? You are just being this record clean slate woman. You've never been married, you've never had children, nothing. And then you go and you give some baby daddy of 5 by 5 different baby mamas. Baby daddy of 7 by 7 different baby mamas. A baby? I'm sorry. Either those women are naive, dumb, or balwele. So I thoroughly believe so Future or Jesus Sierra. Because that decision she made did not make sense. And indeed, Future, typically, after Sierra had the baby, the engagement they didn't get married. Sierra was made an honest woman by some other guy. These men are literally floating around all over society doing this to women. That is sober. Dumb enough. Literally dumb enough. We're taking squint and what is the concentric horizontal, not horizontal king, concentric hypnotic circles. Just going, to ignore all of her dreams. Everything that she knows she wants. I'm not going to give a man a child out of wedlock like a woman that's got that conviction. Next thing she's out here popping baby number 2 to some dude by 2 babang with 2 different baby mamas. It happened to 2 of my friends, not even 1. 2. One woman didn't want to have children before wedlock. We also made a pact that until we are married. And then she went and gave some dude a baby out of wedlock despite having told him multiple times, I can't give you a child out of wedlock because now I need to be secured in a marriage to make sure the man does not end up. I don't want to co-parent. I want to raise children in a household where there's a mom and a dad. And the best way to guarantee that for myself is by making doubly sure. Do you understand what I'm saying? The only way to guarantee that for yourself is by, or at least not guarantee, if not, maybe not 100% guarantee, but hugely reduce the probability of ending up a single mom, co-parenting with some dude out there in the distance married to another woman, or dating another woman, or being a bachelor for life, however. These guys are freaking irresponsible, Karuna, and the thing that has gotten me to this place where I cannot is the fact that not only have I observed them massacre my former friends and make them evil as a result, but now they're literally freaking gunning for me. Bang bata high and low in the same capacity, and I cannot deal. And was with one of my girls, my former friends, because they all went wicked. They became like Medusa, women that have been ransacked by men, and so they become evil. And so they become wicked. And when they become wicked, they then want to take out their pain on other women. They don't want other women to enjoy what they wanted in the future. Because I want to deal the whole prospect of having to watch somebody be happy in your presence when you're sad. So they bewitch their friends to make sure me and my girl so literally and so right now I'm ostracized, I'm isolated, I'm a woman living all by her freaking self. Why? Because all of my friends fell prey to evil men. They fell prey to evil men and they can't stand the prospect of me being okay. So they're all trying to destroy me. The root cause, the root cause are these men, and to achieve what they want. I saw what happened to one of my girls, and it's literally all of it is witchcraft. A man managing to confuse a woman until she is squint. She cannot see straight, and so she ends up giving him a baby. So with my former best friend, how it happened was that the 2 of us were literally solid, convicted. I was out, and she was en route getting out. And we're solidly, even in the name of Jesus, we declared we're going to be made honest women out of. We are going to wait on God. We're going to be chaste on top of that. Because sexual immorality is wrong. How does a woman that wants to follow Jesus and make that a life decision suddenly turn Medusa on her girl? I'm gonna stab her multiple times and just to make sure that she never ever comes up for air again. With no one coming to me. No one coming for my safety. Why? Because women are literally standing back. Statue in a corner, waiting for me to become them one day. Only day that I will ever make friends is if I roam these streets. Then I kill a baby mama. Kill 7 months pregnant. Who's not daddy in the sight? Kill 7 months pregnant. What's not ring on my finger? That's what they're waiting for. That's what they're waiting for. Why? Because it's happened to them. It happened to them. They want to make me settle because these men made them evil, and that's just the thing. You see, hell is real. There are consequences to actions. You don't just get to walk around like Medusa. You don't just get to walk around super freaking evil as a person, plotting and scheming against every single body and then be okay eventually. You don't just get to get old, die, and be okay having strewn a trail of cadavers behind you. Because we're now hurt people, my behind. Because you don't get to continue to do whatever it is that people did to you if you're going to enter the kingdom of heaven. There is literally hell to pay. And so essentially, at the very bottom line and the end of the story here, what is true is that these men are sending women to hell before in and of themselves diving in there. They're sending women to hell They are responsible for the condemnation of black women. And they're standing where they're standing, Jafela, like literally on some, I'm like, really, I keep on nobody sees what I've done. So let her continue to rap on the rooftops in Jafela. Nobody's gonna believe her, plus nobody's coming through for her. Because at the end of the day, all these other destroyed women will have nothing to do with her prosperity. I'm not even trying to get prosperous anymore. I'm just trying to go home. There is no living on this earth anymore. There is no way I can acquire. Yeah, just this afternoon, I was looking at images for my for my computer. I was looking at images for my videos. You know how I have a background of some room, a house, a bedroom or a kitchen, a living room, whatever in the background, just to basically mask this environment that I live in. And when I look at these images, sometimes I imagine in my mind that, whoa, that would be a really nice look for a living room in my house. And then I start to enter into this like fantasy mode where I'm like, perhaps one day if the Lord will give me my life back, I would definitely decorate more or less like that in my bedroom. And then I thought about, perhaps the prospect of inviting a friend to my house for lunch. And the glory of those living rooms, the glory of those bedrooms, the glory of those houses, basically, that you guys see them in the background of my videos. The way in the black community, the way people are so jealous of each other. I could not even fathom the prospect of bringing a friend over without getting that hostile, jealous vibe where a person is, not even trying to compliment your home. Nothing, you can pick it up like it's thick, you can even stab it. The way and the sad thing about jealousy with black girls, I've already told you guys that before. That I never used to be scared of their jealousy. It just made me sad a little that you're not happy for me. And it also made me sad that, goodness gracious, can't a person rejoice that all that used to afflict me was sadness, but not freaking fear of witchcraft. Now, when a person comes and visits you at your house, 2 weeks from that date, your prospects trying to come against your mortgage, trying to come against your marriage, like anything to shatter you. Cause now she has to go back into an apartment that's wicked, that's badly furnished, cause I have style. And so cause she doesn't have style, and she hates your style, and so now she wants to just like rip apart everything. A monster yamanala in obscurity. So now I have a fear of not so much witchcraft, but the effect of it. To a friend breaking bread, do you understand? That keeps on coming against your mortgage loan, coming against your marriage, your children, coming against your everything. And when that is life, guys, there is no world left. There is no way God is gonna give me that house, that beautifully decorated living room. It's not happening, because I'm gonna have you for a friend that's gonna come and have like break bread, high tea at my house, and then after you give my whole entire ecosystem, having scanned it in the periphery at glance, I then have to deal with the demonic attack of you coming at my home, of you being unhappy with the fact that I am doing well. I might have left those rubbishes morajo in 2011, 2010. But bottom line is, there are more where they came from, these wicked women. What's going on? I met one in South Africa recently on the internet. She DM'd me. I responded to her, and within 2-3 weeks, she'd already cast spells on me. Anywhere in life, lest I should make her more jealous. That is what is going on. Nobody can catch a break. Anyone calling along that day. And there be friends that are genuinely happy without there being some stupid woman all busy in the back pocket something. That's the black community for you. Like, I'm sorry, I can't deal. And one of the biggest reasons why black women are this evil is because of black men. I cannot say that enough. And my ex-boyfriend, busy, because these men, they involve themselves in so much witchcraft that they end up feeling minuscule and emasculated when people reject them, because they expect this witchcraft is going to give them everything that they want, and when it doesn't, their ego is still bruised, and this time around they're even smaller because they gotta use spiritual manipulation against people to get their way in life. Havana true skill, havana true talent, a genie in a bottle to get their wishes fulfilled. And when people resist their wish fulfillment, that's when they get so embittered and so angry at their victims doing a better thing. that they will then do these spells, pull spells, do you understand, that are so below the belt. Like, literally, how low can you go? Things that are so underhanded that you will wag your head in shock as to the fact that, like, just a human being can be that evil. Like, just being utterly out of your mind shocked that human beings can be that evil. Like, ololata mosadi, the otabang ngolaza botlhokwakan. Obotoyeta a spell right tole, so that her rejection of you might one day be rewarded you with gloating over the fact that you passed me up and now look wakula. ARV. Look at you now. If you had not walked away from me, you still be healthy. You'd be a mother of 5. You'd be this, that, and the other. Like when a boyfriend does that to an ex, making sure when the future. And then he's like, yeah, boy, let's see how far you get with HIV. Let's see how many of those children you have, without HIV. Let's see how happy you're gonna be. Let's see what man is gonna propose marriage to you, agree to be with you, other HIV negative. You are going to meet an HIV positive man, Karabo, because that's the only way that I'm going to prosper, to jump up and down like on a beach ball, like a kangaroo. Happy in the future because ARV. I was never gonna be prepared, ARV. You must understand, when I was 20 years old, I was prepared to commit suicide over HIV. Like, people don't even think about stuff like that. Bunabantu that just cannot take the diagnosis in their stride. Having worked like a dog to preserve my own status, you then go and you try and give me the disease that's going to make me unable to accept my diagnosis. There are people that just don't take it very well, guys. And I was one of them. I nearly committed suicide at 20 at the prospect of testing positive. And this little, animal, this bugger, whether or not he knew that was irrelevant. All that mattered to him was handling me because I rejected him. Okay, I did not respond appropriately to bring back lost lava. Bring back lost lava, of which I have just described it to you now. I've just described it, not bring back lost lava thing. Ditoro, where I am pregnant all of a sudden at 9 months, all of a sudden at 7 months. At record speed. Having a baby in my stomach of a man battling. A man I wanted to walk away from and go into the sunset with somebody else. Marry another man! Because I was done with him. I was done. But that's also another thing, Ikibuangai, that I like talking about witchcraft. It's not a permanent fix. Yeah, it erodes. Yeah, it fades. And so whatever little dumb korobela yet and bring back lost lava yabona, it's kept together with sticky tape, and the victim in question will ultimately wake up to realize, after having been made to snooze for a few minutes, they will be made to realize, I don't want to be here. So they have to quickly trap the woman. They have to quickly trap her. And in my dream, this ex-boyfriend of mine, guys, like, I want to do my edits at the same time. I'm huffing and puffing and blowing the house down, and I'm struggling to focus, to concentrate, precisely because of the fact that I'm busy doing edits at the same time. So maybe I should just pause here, get to this thing, and then carry on talking, because I get multitask. I'm not losing my train of thought, but I will find it again. Okay? The whole Korobela menacing thing. Bring back lost lava is a derivative of Korobela. It is a spell that is used in order to force a woman to stay with you, asabadly. And if a woman doesn't want to stay with you romantically, asabadly, and you manipulate and force her, coerce her into staying with you using sorcery, the next time you have sex with her, you idiots, understand it is rape. Because she would not have continued to have sex with you. It says she would not have stayed with you if you did not manipulate stuff. So essentially, there's a whole bunch of rapists walking around South Africa pretending to be honest men because they have not physically raped a woman that was essentially resisting while he thrust himself into her anyway, but rather she appeared to consent. There are so many rapists walking around in these streets that women don't even know what under heaven is coming to them in the tribulation from these men. They raped women using love spells and all that jazz. And when the tribulation comes, the restrainer gets removed. And so these women are going to get physically raped by men that used to manipulate them with Korobela. This time around, they're going to get actively forced. Men that invest in Korobela to get women are going to be the rapists of the tribulation. I had a horrible nightmare of my ex's sister, younger sister, lying like catatonic, being raped by a man, shocked out of her mind that happened. And it was in the tribulation that I saw this. Women that refused to listen to me, women that stood back and supported rapist men that don't look like rapists are going to face rape in the tribulation. And this time around, it won't be korobela. You won't be consenting. Do you understand? You won't be consenting in a way that you don't understand. But like, you can't tell. All you know is that a guy you accepted having sex with a guy but I didn't want him. And you feel some kind of way about it. But because you consented, you can't be taking this to the police. You're sitting there, you're lying there, you're in a relationship or a one-night stand with some dude funny like no man's business. And now you've slept with him. That's the sad thing about these korobela spells. All that it takes is one sexual encounter to utterly destroy a woman's life. And it is also that one sexual encounter that can also impregnate you. It can give you HIV. That one sexual encounter can completely devastate impilo yakho yonke, and that's all they need. So whether or not you snap out of it 2 weeks later, whether or not you snap out of it 3 weeks later, a month, a year is irrelevant, because by then you've got HIV, or by then you're a baby mama to some dude you can't stand, by then you are married to a man you freaking hate, by then you are done. Do you understand? All it takes is that one sexual encounter. And yet, women are like trying to make me become what they are instead of fix this thing. Instead of fix it. Lenja Lena was supported by his sister. And in my dream, I saw his sister getting ravished by some beast grunting on her in a tribulation state, and she had no right to recourse because it's hell on earth. It's hell on earth. The same man who can hypocritically rape his ex-girlfriend, or at least attempt to, would then have qualms if at all his own sister were to get raped, or his own daughter. They would have qualms with women they imagine they are in a position to protect because they're family. But when it comes to the daughters of other women and other men, when it comes to our people that are other people's relatives, when you're just gonna go and invest all of your manhood in a woman that doesn't want you. Because someone else. It's somebody else's child. Imagine if somebody went and hooked up a whole HIV curse on your daughter. Men, since you're so bitter, and in your bitterness you are out here bewitching my ex-girlfriends to meet men that are gonna infect them with HIV. Now imagine somebody going on right ahead to do that to your kid. Imagine somebody going on right ahead to do that to your daughter. She's not interested, and this little bugger cannot take no for an answer. And so he makes a decision, she's mine, I don't care. A lot of these men have got daughters. They've got daughters. And they would hate any man that is similar to them to be in the lives of their daughters. And yet they are able, born, to go and easily and walk into the hut of a sangoma bayomqela make sure that every man ozoshela imedium yakdala is HIV positive. Just draw a whole bunch of HIV positive men that are also full of trickery, not honest kinds that are going to disclose their statuses on the first date, not the honest kind that are going to make it known clear or no, I haven't tested. So really and truly, if we're going to be doing this, we're taking a risk, but let's use protection. But now, a man that knows he knows and then goes on right ahead when a woman is like, whoa, in the moment of passion. And she's like, dude, have you tested for HIV? And the guy knowing that he's positive. About it, I took a test 2 weeks ago and it came back negative. Atsebaro, he wants to infect her. Knowing it. Yeah. Drawing such men as those to your daughter. Imagine that. Imagine some little alien or the beast ngaphandle drawing men like those to your daughter, making them super drunk, inebriated with passion that is apart from her, passion that is not within her. She would not have felt this way if she was not manipulated to feel this way spiritually. And here it is that this woman is now drunk from the spiritual pheromones of this animal. And then she is in a moment of passion with him, not even convicted of sexual sin, because these women in the world, they're busy fornicating. And then in a moment of passion where there are no condoms around, they're busy making out. And she's like, do you have protection? And this guy's like, I don't, but I tested 2 weeks ago. And this woman goes and has sex with him. And then she goes and tests 3 months later, discovers she's positive and knows exactly who gave it to her. And then also has the post-traumatic stress of remembering that he lied to her just before he had sex with her. So he literally deliberately infected her. deliberately infected her. A person like that can be taken to prison, by the way, for attempted murder. However, if at all he told her I tested 2 weeks ago, he can always claim I was within my window period, I didn't know that I was positive. And so there is no right to recourse. That's what's going on. Lama thought that they've got daughters and they've got sisters that they would loathe for anyone to do that to. And yet they can do it to, like I said, the daughters and sisters of some other people. They can do it to, yeah, they are basically laying women waste. Bare ravasa, bare sotla, bare fokotsa, bare fufura, and I got fufura. When they're done, they then go on right ahead, but not to die in peace. They are then going right ahead, but not to die in peace from their full-blown AIDS. After spreading it lime kaikweni all over South Africa, they then die in peace. They keep on speaking highly of them in eulogies and speeches when these men infected something like 50 women in Johannesburg with HIV. Mara is being spoken very beautifully about because he was so protective of his mom, of his sister, of his girl cousins. He was so protective of his basically female relatives, while ransacking the female relatives of other men in this country. So wonke umuntu uyamthanda except his victims. Would his victims go to his funeral? No, of course not, because they're mourning the fact that that little bugger that gave me HIV is in a casket now. He's died from the thing that's going to ultimately maybe fufura me if I'm not living a healthy lifestyle. I know of a woman all feeling HIV like that by some dude having been thrown. This man was thrown to her by bad friends, just like the ones that I have right now, the ones that I used to have in the past, and basically bitter exes, trying to make sure like this person is not going to be above me in romance. She's not going to be above, she's not going to go and get the husband. I'm not about to go and watch her gloating, literally giving all of what she used to give me to some other brother out there. So and get old with no husband, or some other guy that's HIV positive that would have been option number 5 out of all the guys she wanted to be with, only because he was prepared to be with her because in and of himself he's HIV positive. Like literally just shrinking, shallowing your dating pool, violently shallowing your dating pool. Uguti wena unga be happy the way that you deserve to be happy. The way that's what my ex-boyfriend did to me, and the witchcraft that he cast on me to try and bring me back into his life. It's similar to what happened to my former best friend. I was still telling that particular story. My former best friend fell pregnant all of a sudden after making a solid decision that she was leaving some animal that had to be left. And after falling pregnant, this chick changed. Waba from day to night, overnight. She was frustrated with her pregnancy. You know how there's postpartum depression? Yeah, she had that, but she also had a partum depression, like a pre-partum depression, like a pregnancy depression, like when you hate your pregnancy so much that you can't wait to just get this thing out of your stomach. But by the time you wake up to realize you are about to be the baby mama of some animal you don't like, you're like 6-7 months pregnant, you're so far ahead in the pregnancy, and you've told that you are pregnant, that you can't, even though you are pro-choice. Like I said, I'm pro-life now. But before I got born again, I was pro-choice. This friend, I don't know really what was her stance on pregnancy, whether she was pro-life or pro-choice or whatever. But one thing I can tell you is that when a woman really hates a man, or when she doesn't want to be with a man, when she doesn't want to be trapped with a man, if she falls pregnant with him by mistake somehow, and although I don't know how in under heaven anyone can fall pregnant by mistake, she will not, for the life of her, allow my computer is doing stuff that's making me very uncomfortable, so I'm just gonna perhaps I don't know whether to restart it or what, but it's like flashing me, so I'm just gonna restart it for the sake of safety. Yeah, it's doing stuff. Yeah, there are women who, even though are pro-choice, pro-life, sorry, or they would never have an abortion if they somehow mistakenly, I don't even know if that's even a thing, how you can mistakenly find yourself pregnant. If they fall pregnant, they will do something that they don't want to do just because they can't stand the man. They will literally get rid of a baby and deal with the guilt and the sorrow of that abortion because she does not want to, just the prospect of being tethered to this animal for the rest of her life. Imudla so much that I got by, just forecasting being with some idiot just hovering around impilo yakho for another 20 years, 25. He's gonna be at the wedding of your son, or yes, it's just so taxing. There are some people that you want nothing to do with so much that if you fall pregnant, a lot of women, when they fall pregnant with men like these, even though they don't like the idea of having an abortion, They have it anyway, because just to be tethered to this thing is just too taxing to take in one stride. Too taxing. And that's how I felt in my dream about this man. Like, I was like, I'm done, Lana. I don't want to be with you. And you phony. And I was 7 months pregnant, and I regretted not aborting at 12 weeks. Aborting at 4 weeks. Like, why didn't I know about this pregnancy earlier? Why didn't it dawn on me that I didn't want this pregnancy, this baby, this man's child? The issue was the man, and not so much the baby in the stomach. That's how much some men, that's how much they still don't deserve women. That these women are prepared to sin against God just to not be tied to these men for the rest of their lives. Like when a man has messed up that badly, and then he brings you back in. Bring back lost lover, dude. I was exhausted with you. So Manja, when you bring me back, how's this gonna work? I don't want you. Like, I am kind of solidly convicted. I am done with that decision. So when you bring me in, temporarily hypnotizing me for like 2 weeks, when I snap out of the hypnosis, I'm still not going to want you. And so that's how these women find themselves trapped in marriages they can't stand, baby mamas of men they can't stand, and depressed so much that they can't even love their children that they give birth to these men, until they bewitch the living daylights out of their friends on the left and on the right of them. You all want to be miserable with horrible men. And so for those reasons, together, you want to be miserable together with horrible men. And so for those reasons, when a woman is actually about to be thoroughly very happy with her husband, and his spice get him side, can a divorce a man that she was genuinely besotted with on her wedding day. You sow discord in marriage. It's like there's just nothing you don't stop doing. I saw my friend fall prey to this bring back lost lover rubbish. She wanted to leave the bugger that she had to leave, and she was determined. Next thing, she rocked up all pregnant, and in her pregnancy, somewhere along the way in its advanced stages, when she was like 6 to 7 months, she was so depressed, she was so unhappy. Even on her baby shower, she was she got proposed marriage to. She was literally sporting an engagement ring on her father's, like her dad passed away. And after her dad passed away, we all went Relo Tsidisa. The first day when we went to go Tsidisa, it was with my girls from high school, and then afterwards it was the chicks from varsity. On the day when we went to go and see her, I like, guys, women, please tell me this. Let's just keep this out there. Let's throw this out there like a soccer ball. If at all your man proposes marriage to you, how many of you keep it a secret for 5 seconds? How many of you keep it a secret for 10 seconds? How many of you keep it a secret for a day? How many of you keep it a secret for 2 days? How many of you keep it a secret for a week? How many of you keep it a secret for 2 weeks? How many of you keep it a secret for a month? How many of you keep it a secret for 3 months? I'm sorry. If you answered, if anybody raised their hand in that question that I've just thrown out there, you are with a nitwit, and you are also not typically a woman. Because women, as soon as a guy proposes marriage, she will be on the phone. Never mind waiting to meet her girls for lunch to let them know. She will scream all over Let Johannesburg. On a rooftop, go on the tallest structure in the city and say, my boyfriend just proposed to me. You will know. She will send you a text message if at all you're not answering. You will find out in a meeting because a WhatsApp will come through saying, boo, I'm engaged, with a ring and all different kinds of like emoticons to display joy. Do you understand? Women do not hold that secret for too long. It's not a secret. That's what I'm trying to explain to you guys. It is not a secret. It is something that is so out in the open. 1 minute. It is so out in the wild, this thing, by most, if not all women, that you would not, basically your friends would not happen upon your engagement ring because they came to Tsidisa after your dad passes away. That's not how people find out people are engaged. If at all you're dealing with a woman that's actually happy, that's what's good. Like, her dad passes away, we go see your Tsidisa high school crew, and this chick has got this like bling 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 on her finger. She's like rocking this like diamond, and I'm like, Bandla, this, wow, okay, congratulations, girl. I see. None of us knew. We happened upon that information. We found out because we went to go see Umbona after her dad passed away, Hulot Cities, and there was a ring there. There was a ring on her finger. There was a ring, and Kanako thinks she was pregnant. That's a woman that was proposed marriage to, and she was like, okay, sharp. That's not tab. It was a formality. She was just going through the modes. She was just finishing it off. He had made a decision to put a ring on her finger, seeing as he had not put a ring on 5 other women with 5 other different baby mamas. Abe a ring mo, mara jwanong ona o mo tshepisitse ring. So Kimo, now that she had a ring, she was apparently supposed to be happy. Now that she had a ring, she was supposed to be happy. And she just literally treated it like, yeah. She treated that ring like, eh. She treated it like, eh. Who in the world treats an engagement ring like, eh? Like, meh. A woman that didn't want to marry the man. A woman that's just going through the modes. Liutwa basadi, you steal the joy of women. You steal women. You put babies in the wombs of women where whose eggs were not supposed to be fertilized by your seed. Lifosta basadi, and as soon as you've created so much chaos, you have caused so much chaos in the cosmos. There is nothing that can happen at this point other than for all of us to go home. I'm sorry, black community minang ngani, except there's so much chaos all over the world in very many different ways, and different cultures do wickedness differently. They do whack differently, and I'm not trying to do that. I don't want to live in a world where nobody's happy for me because everybody's so miserable in their settled state. They're all settled in Defela, and so because they all settled, when you are busy celebrating, throwing confetti over your own head, with nobody throwing it on you, what's the point? What is the point? If you can't be truly happy for each other, mankind is supposed to live in camaraderie with each other, and when we can't, it's described in 2 Timothy 3 as perilous times. Agupilegi. It's unlivable, it's insufferable, do you understand? You literally brought the freaking apocalypse on board. All of your witchcraft in your jealousy to make everybody partake in your misery has brought the apocalypse. It has ended the world as we know it. It's over. So when you're sitting in like deadbeat, like zombified countries where it is that you have to keep on living off-grid, hiding in a bush, pooping and peeing and wiping your buttock with a leaf because you don't have toilet paper. When you're living like that, understand, you took away your own comforts. You did this to the earth. You made it so insufferable for people who wanted to live at peace with their man, with their fellow man. You made it impossible for them to live at peace with them. So God was like, fine, if you want strife and you want to just gladly glide, Uzitela here in these streets in your jealousy, take it. Here's the world you want, where everyone is miserable, just like you. Where everyone is struggling, just like you. Where everyone is divorcing, just like you. Where everyone is struggling to finish studying their degrees, just like you. Where everybody is giving men they don't love babies, just like you. Take it. Because my daughters and my sons will have nothing to do with it. They cannot live, they cannot thrive, they cannot survive. The apostasy is so hard knock, it is so astronomical, that even those who call themselves Christians can't even be truly happy for the happiness of fellow sisters and brothers. So with the apostasy all up in our grill, it means we also as Christians can't live at peace, at least with brethren. We could have cocooned ourselves. We could have siloed ourselves and ostracized ourselves from all of society, marginalized ourselves, literally built fortresses around us as just Christians. But there's like literally 5 of us or something, like 6, 7, 20. There's so few of us, with everybody else gnashing their teeth in irritation at our attempt to just live at peace with our fellow man, that it is no longer possible for anybody to live successfully without their next door neighbor trying to snatch some element of peace and joy from them. When children cannot grow up in households where mom and dad are in love with each other because friends from outside keep on sowing discord in marriages, men keep on being made to cheat on their wives, women keep on being made to seduce men in the office. Goodness gracious, if that's what you want for a society, take it. A time is coming when you're going to get to do what thy wilt, for that is the whole of the law. A time is coming where you're going to get to literally just spread yourself thin like marmalade on the earth, doing whatever the heck you want to do, and have nobody come at you with a moral law. Nobody come at you with an insistence that you do better. you will pride yourself in your wickedness, and you're then gonna find yourself living off grid, running away from the mark of the beast, because you remember that Karabo told you that time is coming, and if you take that mark, you go to hell. The hell of which you currently don't even believe in. You're busy as women, standing for men, and you cannot protect fellow girls from those men because you all want to be so miserable with these deadbeat husbands and boyfriends that you cannot protect women from these men. Like, you cannot stand. When you are a woman, I don't care if it's your sister, it's your brother. When you find out that your brother is serial rapist, when you find out that your brother has raped some women, you don't freaking stand with him. I don't care that he's your brother. That is an abomination. It's like all those women, Bahamas, out here, these Palestinian women, out just celebrating the rape of Israeli women. You are like Palestinian women celebrating the rape of other women. I don't care that you don't stand with their ideology or rhetoric, but you cease to be a woman on the day when you do not stand with women who are being ravished by men, because that could happen to you one day. And if at all some woman gloated and laughed over you as you're being thrust into forcibly by a man, when then it's you on that day, you're going to be so broken and devastated over the fact that other women gloated over your rape. Other women gloated over your rape. It's gonna hurt on that day, but nah. Today, you stand with Hamas because their ideology makes more sense for you than tomorrow. You can't even wake up and smell the coffee. You're like UN women who could not stand with the Israeli rape victims because they were busy standing on some other alternative agenda, when really and truly at the present moment, forget about the politics of this thing. Let's look at the fact that women are being vandalized. Women are being sterilized. They're being thrown away. And yet, you are sitting where you're sitting on some no, but I stand for this particular rhetoric. Tomorrow, somebody who has a different ideology from you is going to rape you because apparently you deserve to be raped for having a different mindset. And when another woman gloats over you that belongs to that camp, you're going to wish you had listened to me. The day is coming in the tribulation, women, you who stood back doing nothing, where you're going to get literally they're going to rape you, finding you hiding in a bar, not a bunker, some little hole that you're hiding in the tribulation. And they will change with guns to your head because they haven't had sex in months, given that it's hard to come by women because everybody's busy hiding. And you will lie there being raped, and you will remember this very message. Because there was a time when you were busy standing with your brother, that's literally trying to cause ex-girlfriend. You were busy standing with your cousin who is out here bewitching ex-girlfriend to be with him. You are standing with men that are so full of gender-based violence against women that you do not deserve to be protected. I don't know how many times I can say this. You reap what you sow. And you people who are going to get born again in the tribulation, you people who are going to get saved in the tribulation, the Lord will leave no sin unpunished. So you are going to endure the level of la-di-da, nonchalant, apathetic, standoffish judgment that you endured Christians through in the run-up to the rapture. You, as a Christian woman, are going to be ravaged by men who can't stand even the fact that you are busy holding on to your chastity, or whatever you want to call it, until marriage. The fact that you can't have sex before marriage, for the very reason that that's what you think, they will rape you just to basically spite you. They will rape you out of spite. Just because you're busy standing with this Jesus that doesn't want you having sex before marriage. They will have sex with you and say, how does it feel now that you're having sex? And they will call you a whore even though you were raped. That's coming. Because in the run-up to the rapture, when you were safe, you stood with a brother that literally a whole freaking decade of his ex-girlfriend's life. 12 years young, and she's been single ever since I broke up with that guy. 12 years young, and you're gonna stand with him? What a Mosadi, I'm sorry. You're like a Palestinian woman. A Palestinian woman. That's exactly what it is. That is out just standing with Hamas, even though you have seen the raw video footage of Hamas militants, Israeli women, raping them until their pelvises were broken. Some of them of which even got killed after being raped. Shooting their genitalia 10 times. And you out here with a little Palestinian flag, telling yourself that in every war there are casualties. The reason why rape is a crime against humanity is because of such a thing as that. Literally standing back and saying in war there are casualties. I'm sorry, you don't get to use rape as a war weapon, as a strategy in war. Use a gun, shoot a person dead, do what you want to do, but you don't get to rape women. And women now are being raped as a tactic to defeat them, defy them. So ordinarily an ex-boyfriend that's trying to rape you, and when he can't, he's trying to get you raped then by anybody else that wants to. Like, the bugger gotta die. The bugger gotta die. He gotta go. And men like these are walking around free, celebrated, adored, loved by women. They are walking around baratiwa, ba protectwa, ba vikelwa ngabanye abafazi. There are women protecting rapists because cousin yako. You are protecting a rapist because it's your brother. You are protecting a rapist because it's your husband. Yeah. In the office. Yeah. And when a woman then raises an issue against them, you are literally rocking up court to support Munna or rape. Only look at Casey Nandipa, Makutumelo, whatever her surname is. Tabo Besta. That's how crazy South African women are. Like, Tabo Besta was in prison for rape and murder of women. Like, what in the world? And then you go, you go and you marry a man like that. You go and you like break a man like that out of prison. How do you even sleep with a man that has raped women before? How? That was Nandipa. That's what witchcraft does. You lose your senses. And men who do this to you, you would much rather stand with them any day than watch Karabo be okay in the future. You deserve the earth that's coming to you, Basadi Lankutla. You deserve it. My former best friend, pregnancy, she woke up somewhere along the way in that pregnancy, realized and that's why she was depressed enough in the pregnancy and even after the pregnancy to not tell her girls when she got engaged. We just had to find out because and the chick was sporting a ring. I was like, oh, congratulations. Yeah, it happened when? 2 months ago, really? 2 months. Yo, girl. Who in the world allows 2 months go fellow refite? Also, I would say anybody or you're engaged. I mean, who? Who does that? Yeah, a woman that does not want to be with a man. So that little bring back lost lover spell that my ex put on me, where I found myself like heavily pregnant with his child, and I didn't want to be in that relationship to a point of even thinking about an abortion in my dream, albeit being a Christian in waking life. Yeah, that was the same spell that took my friend over like a tsunami. Maranaki mzalwani. So it worked. So the Lord showed me what he wants to do. And when I woke up in the morning, I breathed a sigh of relief because the dream felt very real. I touched my stomach and realized it was still flat. I wasn't pregnant with this silly little baby. That's what's good. I was protected. However, the Lord showed me what he tried to do. That was the difference between my friend and I. If at all I wasn't saved, I was going to get back together with that guy. Hooked. I got my palate. Got bring back lost love. I would have gone back to a man that I did not want to be with. I was determined. I was decided, manipulated. I was serious. And I would have fallen pregnant by his baby. And got 4, 5, 6 months. I'm pregnant. I'm having my first child. I was gonna suddenly wake up with a bump in the morning, lying next to a man I can't stand. And I was gonna hate my pregnancy. And I was gonna hate the thing that's happening. And even the marriage ring proposal that would have come afterwards in a Jongbora. My friend, after giving birth to the baby, she had no joy. Honestly excited about being a new mom. She was miserable in a way that I could observe, but I said nothing. I was just supportive and there. That's all that I was. Next time I to add insult into injury, mara unaitola. Why do you continue to marry the guy? I co-parent girl. Tampa D1. Don't walk down the aisle. Don't let him pay lobola. Just move on and trust that some other guy will be happy to go and raise that baby of yours as a step child. Just trust that there'll be a guy that's mature enough to be okay to take your kid in his stride because he loves you. So go on right ahead and marry someone that you actually do love. If a baby mama, yes, I'm dude with whom you will co-parent. It is a little bit of a glitch in your matrix. It's not exactly what you signed up for, but at least you're not married. You're not permanently bound to because my business about dangler. Basadi Obana as puppets on a string. Ulanzo lipizu tell side like with poison darts. Keep on going in her buttock. And so because he keeps her around with poison darts, she ends up giving him a second baby. And oh goodness, I said 2 kids. I get waiting. You've done it to yourself. Weekends. It happened not only with my former best friend, but the other one that I told you guys about. Oh, Wako MTN, that also used to be my friend. A dude that she was trying to explain, I give out of wedlock, please. He would not propose to her. He was a freaking millionaire, so he could afford to pay lobola any minute now. top of that, was some other woman that he never made an honest woman. And this chick went and gave him a first baby. And then after giving this guy a baby, when she had her first baby with him, and I the second baby, she should have at that stage been like, oh, this guy, let me go. But nah, about a year later, she went and gave him a second child. What in the world are these women doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Some women, that fall in love so violently that they will take them with all of their baggage. So manje, if you have not yet been married and you've given some deadbeat a baby, you can still go. And there might still be a guy out there that's like, I don't care, nyamfuna. Even with the baby. I had a friend that had a child with some other dude from Kamontle and met another guy that took her and all that baggage. Yeah. So it is absolutely possible. I also know of a woman, one of my aunts, like long ago when she was still young. She was, my cousin fell in love with her. The only reason why I call her aunt is because she married my cousin. Well, not married, but yeah, she is regarded as an aunt because she gave him a whole bunch of children, whatever. Mara, he met her heavily pregnant. He met her pregnant. She was pregnant by some other dude's baby. And this dude was like, I don't care. I'll raise that child as my own. I'll take, because the guy fell in love with a woman and was like, it is what it is. I'll take it. Nyamfuna. There are men that fall so head over heels in love with women that they will take them 9 months pregnant with somebody else's baby and still go and walk them down the aisle. So abafasi feeling ngati ba trapped when they give a man a child. I don't know what in the world is going on there. La madoda lana ba feeling ngati bangantrapa ngabantwana. All determined to get out. But busy in bring back lost lover. If bring back lost lover, it's enough for you to sleep with him and then suddenly fall pregnant. And then 5 months into the pregnancy, you find yourself depressed. Understand that postpartum depression, the depression during pregnancy, is going to become postpartum depression if you still continue. If you continue to marry mono samurating, it's going to be worse. On your wedding day, hawataba. You're smiling for photos even though hawataba. Walk. Raise one, no. Co-parenting with this guy. Don't turn your lives to Jesus Christ. In your palate that he is using. Just like it happened with Karabo. Like with me. If he hooked you and you prospered and he prospered to get a baby in your stomach, don't let him pay lobola. Get out and raise one. How? Have I know about there for the baby? Good. How said again? Another reason why Kreshapi had to be left. And trust Uguti as Ntwembu as you are. Guzobandota, that's okay with you and your 2-year-old. Okay with you and your 3-year-old, like Papa. Like, do not marry a man on Amfuni because that's an exorbitant thing. It is a height and a depth of depression so exquisite that you won't know whether you're coming or going. I had a cousin where that was also done to Gwen. Mutukyo Bizuna Bua were both gonna be chasing Jesus Christ. Next thing, she's 6 months pregnant. And I'm like, how in the world? Mutwatengi, only later. Mutwatengi, only later. Maranasa mo batle fandi one. She wasn't even sure that she wanted to go out on a date with him when he asked her out. And on top of that, caused her to compromise on her convictions about sexual chastity in Christ. When a man has already made you dizzy like that, after giving birth to the baby, wait again, girl, pick up the pieces. At least you are single. At least you are still single. You've made mistakes, fine. God is not going to have a problem with you getting married to a man that's not your baby daddy. What he has a problem with is marriage and remarriage. And that's what these women are now today trapped in. With men that they, after divorcing, since they are still alive, they cannot remarry other men because if they do, they commit adultery against the Lord. That's what under heaven is going on, Lan. So manje, when you're dealing with a situation in Jalo, what under heaven are you going to do as God when the world looks like that? All you can do is end it. All you can do is end it. Let's move to the next part. I've already been speaking for over an hour.